Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with another book haul. Toward the end of May, I went to an antique store in Hammonton, New Jersey. It's called Mazza's Antique Marketplace, but people know it more just as Antique Marketplace. And they have all kinds of things. Anything that they deem as an antique is game. I know that my friend Beth, who went with me, got a Super Bowl banner from 1996. It was the 1997 Super Bowl, though, because it was the 1996 season. The Packers and Patriots competed, and the Packers won. That was the year that Brett Favre got his one Super Bowl ring. But I found a lot of good books there. And for starters, I got 8 Reader's Digest condensed books, which include the Volume 3 from 1961, which includes The Winter of Our Discontent by John Steinbeck, The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving Stone, The Making of the President, 1960 by Theodore H. White, A Lodging for the Emperor, which is condensed from Japanese In by Oliver Statler, and Goodbye Mr. Chips by James Hilton. Since these are condensed, abridged versions, they're not as long, but they include the solid parts of the story. I think if I read them, I'll definitely make note to the fact that they are the abridged version, because I'm probably only going to read one at a time if I decide to do so. There was the Volume 2 from 1962, including Captain Newman, M.D. by Leo Rosten, Devil Water by Anya Seton, The Story of San Michel by Axel Munthe, 9 Hours to Rama by Stanley Wolpert, and Watchers at the Pond by Franklin Russell. I got Volume 4 from 1962, which includes Dearly Beloved by Anne Morrow Lindbergh, Bricky, which is condensed from To Love and Corrupt by Joseph Vertel, 7 Days in May by Fletcher Niebel and Charles W. Bailey II, The Wonderful World of School, which is condensed from The World is Young by Wayne Miller, Microbe Hunters by Paul D. Kruff, and The Golden Rendezvous by Alistair MacLean. I got the Bestsellers version, which is the 1966 version of such, and this includes The Source by James A. Michener, Intern by Dr. X, Hotel St. Gregory, which is a condensation of Hotel by Arthur Haley, which I own a copy of. I have a copy of Hotel right here, which it's right within reach. I'm probably, if I were to read Hotel, it would be this version. But there's also To Sir with Love by E.R. Braithwaite, which is something that had caught my attention, especially since Braithwaite had recently passed away, but he lived a very long life. To Sir with Love was his main work. The other Reader's Digest condensed that I got was Volume 1 from 1967, which included The Town and Dr. Moore by Agatha Young, The Captain by Jan D. Hartog, Flight from a Firing Wall by Baynard Kendrick, The Headmaster by John McPhee, and I Start Counting by Audrey Erskine Lindop. I got Volume 3 from 1979. This includes Sunflower by Marilyn Sharp, The Master Mariner Running Pluraude by Nicholas Monsaret, Error of Judgment by Henry Denker, and A Walk Across America by Peter Jenkins. I got Volume 4 from 1988, and this includes Tsunami by Richard Martin Stern, The Harrogate Secret by Catherine Cookson, The Charm School by Nelson DeMille, and A Walk in the Dark by Joyce Stranger. And the last and most recent one that I got was Volume 5 of 1991. And this includes The Eagle Has Flown by Jack Higgins, Aspen Gold by Janet Daly, The Ice by Louis Charbonneau, and Lightning in July by Anne L. McLaughlin. I'm usually the kind of person that wants to read complete solid works, but I couldn't turn down a deal of reading multiple abridged pieces and pay. One of them was $1. I think the most I paid was $3 or $4 for one of them. And now we move on to the. Now I'm going to move on to the books that I got while I was at Antique Marketplace. First one I got was Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis, which is the first in his space trilogy, which it seems really convincing how the adventure begins with a title doctor, Dr. Ransom, who is abducted by a physicist onto another planet. And I'm pretty curious to see where this where this trilogy goes. I'm probably going to start reading into the Chronicles of Narnia first, but I would like to get to this. Next thing that I got was Poems That Touch the Heart, which is compiled by A.L. Alexander. I'm really curious to look into this. There are several poems in here. A lot of them are short, which I'm just curious to see if this is going to be strictly sappy or I really start to feel something. It'll be worth a try. I think this is one that Beth is going to be pleased that I had gotten. I never really got to show her the books, to be honest. It's unfortunate, and I feel a bit guilty, but we had a great day anyway when we went out to Hammonton and Tabernacle. But Everyone in the Bible, which is biographical information about every man, woman, and child mentioned in the Bible. And this was put together by William P. Barker, who was a pastor at the Pittsburgh, he was a pastor at the Bower Hill Community Church, which is a Presbyterian church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it was when this was put together. Which it was put together back in 1966. So this is over 50 years old. On the topic of older books, the next book that I got was the White House Cookbook, which is edited by Janet Halliday Ervin. And this book was put together back in 1964 when Lyndon Johnson was president. And this is quite It's in pretty old condition, but I want to say it was $3, and I wasn't going to turn that down for something about what was served to the presidents, which I'm interested in that random presidential information. On the topic of food, I got Primetime Emeril by Emeril Lagasse, which was put together when he had his live cooking show, which was big because he really knew how to put on a crowd. He had a band, and then he incorporated that into him putting together a meal. And his catchphrase on the back, "Bam." I hope I enjoy this. This is one of the dollar books that I got while I was there, and that is Esquire's Book of Gambling. And this explores all areas of games that involve gambling, from cards to roulette to horse racing and anything else in between. And the last thing that I got just stuck out in my mind, and that is Squash, a country garden cookbook. I get that Iron Chef vibe with the idea of each episode revolving around a secret ingredient or a food-related theme, which it's usually one ingredient or one type of food. And this book being all about squash, it really makes me curious, and I'm really eager to see what this book has to offer on the topic of squash. Alrighty. Here are my Reader's Digest condensed books. Got a lot of condensed books for really good prices. Here's everything else I got while I was there. I definitely think that if you're into both books and other kinds of antiques, that Antique Marketplace is worth checking out. And Hammonton is just such a beautiful area. Very well operated, and I really enjoyed paying a visit down there. For now, I encourage you to pay a visit to a bookstore of any kind and buy one or two or many books, as many as you please. And I encourage you to keep reading.